Nigloland is the most underrated theme park in France. I love this park. To start, it is beautiful, both in terms of landscaping and theming. Then it also has an interesting ride lineup with some well-done Disney knockoffs and a genuinely elite coaster and Alpina Blitz. This review will explain why this park should not be missed. This park's story begins with Walt Disney World. The Jolice brothers visited the Florida resort in the 1980s, and they wanted to bring something like that to France. Keep in mind, Disneyland Paris was not a thing at this point, as it did not open until 1992. The Jolice brothers opened Nigloland in 1987. The name is derived from the Romani word for hedgehog, hence this park's mascot. The park started very small with just 7 attractions, but they attracted good crowds, so they kept on expanding, adding new rides and themed areas. Today, the park has 4 zones and nearly 3 dozen rides. This growth is really impressive considering the park's location. It is located in the tiny town of Dolencourt. How tiny, you might ask? The town has just 125 residents. This is one of those parks where you're driving through fields and small villages wondering to yourself if your GPS lied to you. It is that remote. You have to drive nearly 2 hours to find a city with a population approaching 200,000 people, and it is a 3-hour drive east of Paris. Parking is at least free in a large field behind the park. If you don't have a car, it is possible to access this park via public transit. It is just time consuming. There are shuttle buses from Troyes, or you can take a bus to Bar-sur-Aube. From those 2 cities, you can find trains to France's larger cities. Going between Paris and Nigloland specifically takes roughly 5 hours. While this park comfortably can be experienced in a day, they smartly offer 2 on-site hotels for those coming from a distance, Cabana and Hotel des Pirates. I have not stayed at either of them, but they look quite nice from videos. On average, they are priced at €200 per night. This is for the room only, and it does not include admission. As of 2025, admission costs €47 at the gate. This is a good price considering what they have to offer. You can save €4 to €15 per person if you buy your tickets in advance online, so I would recommend doing that. The park has a small but functional entrance. Once inside, I was immediately in awe by this park's landscaping. It is gorgeous. You have these colorful, pristinely maintained gardens. I especially love the entry pathway. You walk past these horse statues and flowers, all while fanciful music is playing. Then this park has 4 themed areas. Canadian Village is a woodsy area mostly filled with lumberjack and animal theming. Rock and Roll Village is themed to 50s America, with transportation as the main focus. Swiss Village is my personal favorite area, as I love the chalet architecture. Magical Village covers the rest of the park. The best part of this section is the whimsical kids area. Most rides have some degree of theming, particularly the newer ones. While I love how this park looks, I am not a fan of the layout. I hate parks that have egregious dead ends, and that is exactly what this park has. The midway forms a giant C shape, ending in front of Grizzly and Spatial Experience. Not only that, those 2 rides are mere feet from each other, but to go between them, you need to walk through the entire park, which takes 10 to 15 minutes. It's not the end of the world, but it is a nuisance. I would love if the park could somehow complete this loop in the future. It would make it much faster and easier to get around. Now let's run through the ride lineup. The park currently has 6 different roller coasters. The best of the bunch is easily Alpina Blitz. This is Mack's take on the Intamin Megalite, and honestly, I think it's even better. It has the elements typically found in a hypercoaster, but it is half the height. Size is not everything though, as this coaster has some excellent airtime. Once it's warmed up, most hills offer ejector airtime, particularly the first drop and the S hills in the middle part of the ride. I have a full review covering this ride more in depth, but it's the main reason coaster enthusiasts should have this park on their radar. That is not the only Mack coaster either. There are 4 others to choose from. Spatial Experience is an indoor coaster similar to Europa Park's Eurosat. Pre-retrack. This coaster is a bit shaky, particularly further back in the train, but I really like it up front. The darkened environment results in a great sense of speed. Then, there are a handful of twists and turns offering sudden and very powerful laterals, especially because you cannot see them coming. Krampus Expedition is a water coaster, a ride model the park had been eyeing for years. The presentation is top-notch between the monstrous rockwork by the splashdown and the custom soundtrack. The layout itself is okay. It does not have any airtime like some of the other water coasters, but the spiral drop has some laterals, and the final drop is a falling sensation to it. Schliet Express is a wild mouse. It is braked very noticeably though, so it is much tamer than other installations. The laterals in the first half are merely decent, then the dips are not too punchy, but this is a good transitional coaster for kids given its milder nature. Goldmine Train is a powered coaster. It holds its speed better than other rides of the same model, and there are some laterals in the helix and the tunnel. The rest of the layout is light in the forces, but is a scenic ride surrounded by trees. The final coaster is the only one not from Mack, and that is Noisette Express, a bougie junior coaster from Art Engineering. It is a glass-smooth ride with comfortable trains and lovely music. The layout is not too wild, but it's perfect for what it's meant to be. There are two main gaps in their coaster lineup. They lack something with inversions and something with a launch. Both will thankfully be filled with their next coaster. The park confirmed they'll add a multi-launch coaster with multiple inversions. It will stand 141 feet, or 43 meters tall, and it will be located around the park's lake. It will have a budget of roughly 15 million euros, and is widely expected to be a Mack striker coaster. If it is anything like Voltron at Europa Park, this will give the park an impressive top two coasters. In 2023, the park said this coaster would open in 2026 or 2027. I would suspect the latter at this point given how I have not heard of any construction on site thus far. This park offers so much more than just coasters. They also have a nice collection of flat rides. The best of the bunch is Donjon del Extrema, which is one of the world's tallest drop towers. Built by Funtime, this ride stands a whopping 344 feet, or 105 meters tall. This makes it incredibly scenic, especially since the gondola rotates on the ascent. Then the drop seemingly lasts forever, offering nice floater the whole way down. Another thrilling flat is Air Meeting, a Gerstlauer Skyfly. This one is much harder to flip than the other installations due to increased resistance. Typically, I can flip these things 30 to 40 times per cycle. However, I could only get one full flip here. Usually, I was stalling out. This still offered good hang time at least, but I know many guests struggle to come close to inverting on this one. If you want spinning rides, this park is a handful. Grizzly is the best of the bunch, as it's a Zamperla disco coaster combining a solid spin with some weightlessness in the spikes. I also need to note Eden Palais, which contains a beautiful carousel. Not only that, there's a history museum around the ride's perimeter. A lot of people miss this. Then, if you want scenic attractions, this park has you covered. Grand Rue is a massive Ferris wheel that's nearly 200 feet tall. This offers some incredible views of the park, particularly of Alpina Blitz and Krampus Expedition. There also are a series of transportation rides showcasing this park's beauty. You have multiple tracked car rides. My favorite of the bunch is Ferme d'Antonin, where you ride on tractors. Most of the ride passes these static animal statues, but the finale passes a live goat exhibit. You also have multiple boat rides. There's the King of the Mississippi paddle wheeler on the lake. There's the Riviere Enchanté spinning raft ride past some stunning gardens. And then there's Africa Cruise. This is the park's take on the Jungle Cruise. It is not narrated, but you pass a series of animal animatronics. Then there's also a monorail. This circles around the kids area. Now this kids area is really nice, especially since most rides can accommodate kids and adults together. Then a lot of family rides I'm noting have minimal to no height restrictions, so a lot of stuff here is perfect for all ages. In addition, this park has some dark ride experiences. There is one traditional dark ride here in Manoir Haunt. This is a really unique ghost train that is a ripoff of Disney's Haunted Mansion. You pass some familiar scenes like the ballroom. Then later in the ride, you have Mickey Mouse lying on a bed. What makes this attraction particularly special is the ride system. You sit on these benches that spin throughout, especially if you're off balanced. Hérissons de la Forêt Magique is an adorable tracked car ride. It is mostly outdoors, but you head inside a cave for some murals and 2 show scenes, and the course undulates up and down to give it some flair. Then there's Dinosaurs Aventure, which is essentially dinosaurs alive. You pass some large dinosaur statues as you walk through it. Then, you have some not-so-subtle items borrowed from Jurassic Park, including the iconic soundtrack. On that note, there are a few rides here with interesting music choices. Take Ronde des Canards. This looks like your standard kiddie boat ride, but it plays the chicken dance throughout. The final ride I want to mention is Rivière Canadienne. This is a Mack log flume. It shares the same setting as Goldmine Train, and the 2 rides cross paths a few times. Then the lone drop at the end is decent. Beyond the rides, this park offers the infamous Nigloland show. This has a series of animatronics singing songs and playing instruments. It is a cruder version of the Country Bear Jamboree, both in terms of the animatronic quality and how they behave. I'm not a fan of this show, but I know some people find it absolutely comical. I have visited this park twice, once on a Saturday in the spring, and another on a summer weekday. Crowds were comparable at both visits. The park was not empty, but most things were no more than a 5 to 10 minute wait. This is because employees typically load things quickly. The longest line I've witnessed at this park was 20-ish minutes for Spatial Experience and Alpina Blitz. If you arrive at opening, I would recommend doing Spatial Experience first. I have seen this coaster run just 1 train in both my visits, so it had the longest line in the afternoon. Then I would prioritize Alpina Blitz, Krampus Expedition, and Schliet Express because they are nearby. Some important notes on Alpina Blitz specifically. I recommend getting most of your rides on this coaster in the afternoon. This is because the coaster warms up significantly, and it'll offer a far wilder ride. It also will likely have a shorter wait. The park almost always opens this coaster with just 1 train in the circuit. If the switchbacks fill up, it can take 20-ish minutes to board. If that happens, they will typically add the 2nd train around lunch. Shortly thereafter, the line clears out, and it's usually a minimal wait the rest of the day. If the park is dead, they'll keep it on 1 train, so the line should be short anyway. This coaster also operates with a turnstile system. This admits just enough people to fill the next train, no more, no less, so seating is on a first-come basis. If there's a specific row you want, let people pass you with the turnstile. Once you go through, you must board the next train. I should also note that if you're a single rider, you may be asked to move to join another party even if you picked a specific row. I think you can comfortably hit the major rides in half a day given the relatively short lines. But I like having a full day at this park so you can soak up the atmosphere, get plenty of re-rides, and try the charming smaller attractions as well. The final thing to touch on is food. I have never gotten a full meal here, but I've had some snacks that were good. Do I recommend Nigloland? Absolutely. I really like this park, and I think it is severely underrated. It is beautifully landscaped. It has some nice theming, and the ride lineup is solid. There's a standout coaster in Alpina Blitz, and a nice mix of supporting rides covering a wide range of genres. I think this park will get a lot more attention once the new coaster opens up, and rightfully so. Those are my thoughts on Nigloland, the most underrated theme park in France. What do you think about this park? Have you been there? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching,